everybody, and welcome back to our final Are You Ready session of the summer. We are here in Belk Library, and tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about living and learning at Elon. But before we go ahead and get started, I'm going to give our guests a chance to introduce ourselves. I'll hand it over to Matthew.
Hi, I'm Matthew Yeager. I'm a junior at Elon. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm majoring in finance and management.
Hi, everyone. My name's Meredith. I'm a rising junior from right here in Elon, North Carolina. I am a human service studies major with minors in communication and poverty and social justice.
Hi, everyone. My name is Delaney. I am a senior from Wilson, North Carolina. I'm a marketing major.
Hi, I'm Stephen House. I am the provost and executive vice president. And since you have no idea what the provost is, I'm the chief academic officer and the chief operating officer. And I've been at Elon for 16 years.
So like I said, tonight we're going to be talking a little bit more about living and learning at Elon. So we're just going to start talking, and if at any point throughout the webcast y'all have any questions about what we're talking about, please go ahead and submit them, and we'll answer them towards the end of the webcast. But to get us started, in some of our previous webcasts, we've talked about learning at Elon, what that looks like. We've talked a little bit about what it looks like to be in our community here and all of the opportunities that you're going to have as an Elon student. And now, you have learned your housing assignments, you've gotten your course schedules. And so now that all of these exciting things have happened, Dr. House, do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the exciting things that they have to look forward to in living in a residential community?
Well, before I address that, so Abby said you've got your housing assignments. So you're probably wondering, what should you pack? How many towels should you bring? We're not going to talk about that tonight. So you can go to the Are You Ready website and look at that and certainly learn about that. But this is about living, learning. And so when you talk about residences, you say, well, I'm here to learn, and you're going to certainly learn in the classroom. But what's really exciting is students are going to learn in their residences as well. So that's why we call them living learning communities. So you're going to have a cohort, you're going to have people to study with, you're going to be given a class that probably will have several people from the area that you're living in. So we talk about curricular, that's learning in the classroom. We talk about extracurricular, that's learning outside the classroom. But your experience at Elon is always going to be about learning. We then have the Elon experiences that when you combine that curricular and extracurricular with the Elon experiences, we believe that takes learning to the extraordinary heights of Elon. But I'd be curious to know what sort of living learning communities or residential experiences you've all had.
Well, I'll start off. My very first year, I actually had a global course. So every first year student, when they come in, either their first semester or their second semester, will take something called the global experience. I was a resident of the global neighborhood. I was one of the very first people to live in that neighborhood. It was an awesome experience. And actually in that global experience course taught by a professor who actually recently retired, Dr. Calhoun, that course was actually of students all in the global neighborhood, not just my specific building, but also a couple other buildings. So I was able to be a part of that course, which was an extraordinary course in and out of the classroom. But I was able to meet some people in my building that I hadn't met, and also some people from other buildings in Global, which was great to meet a few new people and have those people in my neighborhood to hang out with and study with, certainly for that class.
Perfect.
Yeah, my experience was kind of similar. I lived in historic my first year. So I definitely had all historic people except for one. I had one person from global in my global class, but all the rest of us were from historic all over the neighborhood. So it was definitely great. I actually had two girls who lived on my hall that were in my global class. So we definitely got together, studied for quizzes or anything like that. So it really helps enhance your experience, because it can be scary coming in and transitioning and not knowing who's there for you. But it was really great transitioning. I met really great people in my course, and that really helped my living and learning and my transition to Elon. So that definitely is a great course to take and a great way to incorporate living and learning.
Matthew?
Yeah, well, for me, I guess, I'm on the soccer team at Elon. So when I came in, I was living with 7 other soccer players in Danley. And just being around them, living sweet style, and living with a bunch of other people, I mean, you talk about living and learning, you learn pretty much every day. I mean, they say you learn something new every day, right? So, and I think you do that by the people that you surround yourself with. So surrounding yourself with the people that you take, the classes with, the people that you live with, you will learn something new with them every day. And that's mostly, outside the classroom, when you're studying, when you're just hanging out with them, doing whatever, getting the different cultures, figuring out where they're from. I mean, that was one thing coming in freshman year. You'd have people from all over the nation, all over the world. One of my roommates is from England. So just learning all about him, where he comes from, his background, just learning a bunch of different cultures. It really helped me kind of settle in at Elon.
I think that the community at Elon is something that is so strong. And it's personally one of my favorite parts about Elon. It's just the greatest place to be inspired by the community, by the faculty, the staff, the students that you're surrounded by. But now that we've talked a little bit about what that looks like in the community, Elon Traditions is something that ties together staff, faculty, and students. And so I'd be interested to see what some of y'all's favorite Elon traditions are.
I can start. My favorite tradition would definitely have to be luminaries. That is when we have a really big holiday celebration that celebrates all walks of life, all different traditions and holidays that are going on around like the December period. It's a wonderful distraction before we head into finals, but it's a wonderful display, especially during my first year, to see faculty, staff, and students all coming together for this one really great event. Like faculty brought their kids, and you got to see them in a more humanistic light rather than just your professor. You saw them as moms and sisters and brothers and friends, and you also saw your own friends. So that definitely was a really beautiful ceremony. Just watching all the lights on the trees come to life, it really just brought it all together and really was a great segue to the end of your first semester. So that's one of my favorite traditions. You just get such a humanistic and pure look at what Elon is and the people that are here, and not just the institution. So that's really great.
And I'll go second. So new student convocation. So you are all going to move in on a Friday. Maybe some of you move in a little bit earlier, but then on Saturday we're going to have new student convocation, and we will meet under the oaks. And we will welcome the students. So the students will all be there, and parents will be there, and faculty will be there. And Dr. Smith Jackson and Dr. Randy Williams will introduce the class. And then Dr. Evan Gotti, who's a professor, and myself will introduce the faculty to the students. And then President Lambert will talk. And I'm not going to tell you what he's going to say, but it's one of the best talks you've ever heard. And then at the end, the students are all going to process out through the faculty, and at the end of the line, you're going to get an acorn. And I'm not going to say more about that because I think Meredith wants to say a little bit about another tradition, and she might say a little bit about an acorn too.
Yeah, so that's a great segue. Thank you, Dr. House. So my favorite tradition about Elon is definitely our acorn and then matriculating out as an oak sapling. And so you will receive an acorn. I actually still have mine from my first year. It's a really special thing. Delaney, do you still have yours?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have yours?
It's in my room.
One of my favorite things is having an acorn that represents kind of a new beginning for students. Definitely was a new beginning for me. After 4 years, when you go to graduation, you actually receive an oak sapling, and that basically represents your growth here at Elon, how it's nurturing and how you've grown on your own, and you're ready to leave and plant your roots in the world and really make a difference, whether that be small in your community or just in the world on a greater kind of spectrum. It's my favorite thing. Elon in Hebrew actually means oak, and so it even ties into Elon history and values and things like that. So it's definitely my favorite tradition. In 2 years' time, I'll be getting my oak, but for now, my acorn will do.
I mean, one thing that I like, is obviously soccer. I can talk about soccer all night, but outside of athletics, I enjoy going to the college coffees. I mean, if anything else, it's free coffee and stuff.
That's true.
But the thing that I like about it is, I'm a very extroverted, outgoing person. So I like meeting new people, and I like, talking with people. And, there are a lot of people at this college coffees, right? So a lot of my friends go, and a lot of my professors go as well. So it's a good time to kind of meet them out of class, talk with them a little bit, get to know them a little bit, and kind of get on their good side. And just learn as well, like learning something new every day, meeting new people, learning from your professors, and just talking to them. I mean, college coffee is a good way to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And y'all will get the chance to learn a little bit more about these traditions when you come for orientation in just a few short weeks. And so speaking of that, I'll give y'all a little bit of an overview of what to expect when you arrive here. And so you'll go through sessions led by an orientation leader. And so these will be all framed around helping you succeed at Elon. And so these will be things about campus programs, things about traditions, things about, learning to conquer these first 6 weeks, this first semester on your own. And so then you'll get the chance to also hear from other campus programs, from Creed, from Sparks, from all of these wonderful programs to help you be successful at Elon. And it's going to be a packed weekend, but packed full of events and things that will help you be successful. And so if anyone wants to talk about their experiences with orientation or tips and advice coming into this time.
Well, my favorite thing was, kind of coming into college and boom, instant friends, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little nervous, and a lot of other people were nervous, was just coming here and, meeting other people, am I going to make friends? Will people like me? Finding that out, the first week, just being put around people, who are as excited as you are,
Mm-hmm.
and getting thrown in these orientation classes and whatnot, where you learn and get to know them, you've got friends right off the bat. And, I was like, I'm in the Business Fellows program,
Mm-hmm.
so we're in orientation with them, and just meeting with them, and then just being so, welcoming. It was really nice and really comforting, and it helped me settle in a lot easier having orientation, right before school. So just to get accustomed
Mm-hmm.
with everything with, a group of 25 other freshmen.
Yeah.
So
If I had one piece of advice for any first-year student, it would be take a deep breath. This is a crazy world that you're about to enter. College is such a learning experience in every way, shape, and form. But sometimes you just need to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, I'm just going to observe what's going on now and kind of find my place. A lot of folks are, nervous about finding their right group of friends and things, and know that it comes with time. Your first semester is definitely not going to be what your entire college career is. So if you're struggling the first couple of days, or you're thinking, oh, did I make my right choice here at Elon? Should I stay at home? Should I even come to college? No, just take a deep breath, take a step back, and say, it'll all happen within time.
You want to go ahead?
You go ahead.
So one of the last sessions the students get is the engaged learning session. So you heard me talk about engaged learning, and it's sort of a niche of Elon, and it makes us really special. So college is different than high school.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, you could sit in class and read and memorize and get all the answers right on the exam, and you do really well. College is a little bit different. The faculty are going to try to make you ask questions. And the best way is to just go in. I agree with Meredith, catch your breath every once in a while, but you need to be part of this learning adventure. You really need to take the initiative. And I really do mean faculty even value questions more than the right answers. And sometimes your questions and your answers may be wrong, but exploring and being willing to take chances are really key. And know that at Elon, and this is different than some institutions, your colleagues, your fellow students are going to be with you all the way. This is not a cutthroat institution where we're all competing for the best grades because I want to be number one in front of somebody else. It's a very different institution. So be curious, be passionate, ask questions.
And I would say my advice to students is definitely utilize the resources that are here. I know one of my greatest and probably influential resources that I have here is the CREED, which is our Center for Race, Ethnicity, and Diversity Education. And with my involvement in there, I am involved in multiple programs and have been a part of their programs, been on committees. They have really just skyrocketed my growth here, just simply being involved with them. So I would definitely say utilize your resources, realize that there are so many different types of people here, so many ways you can get help, so many ways you can just have a space to relax and just talk. I can't tell you how many times I've just walked into the CREED and just sat down and just talked for hours, even though I probably had homework to do. And that really is essential to your personal health, your emotional health, because you do need chances to breathe and you do need those safe spaces. So I would definitely say utilize the resources and find your safe space here, because I'm sure for all walks of life, there's some type of safe space here for you. So that is really my greatest advice, is take a deep breath, but also utilize the resources and realize that you have a lot of great people here ready to support you.
Absolutely. That's all fantastic advice. We actually just got our first question in. So I'll go ahead and say, what can I expect my classes to be like?
I can go ahead and attest. I actually came in with a lot of transfer credits. So I, as a first year, was taking upper level courses already. So I kind of definitely have first year courses, and those transitional courses, they were tough. They're definitely, like Dr. House said, you're not in high school anymore. You really have to immerse yourself in the learning and immerse yourself in the experience, because Elon is known for not only having the academics, but having the experience of what a college and what a student should go through. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but it's nothing you can't handle. It's definitely going to push you to the next level academically, personally, and it's only going to improve you as a student and as a person. So you definitely will run into your challenges. I will be lying if I said I haven't run into a few tough courses, but it's definitely something that will push you forward academically and both personally.
Logistically speaking, high school is very different than college. So one of the first things that you'll receive in a college course, and specifically here at Elon, is a syllabus. And that'll go on, it'll pretty much be on an online program that we call Moodle. So if you haven't been acquainted with Moodle yet, you will. It'll be all, just bookmark it on your computer. But one of the greatest things to do whenever you get into a class is make sure you read the syllabus. And it sounds kind of trivial, but that's one of the greatest things to do. Read the syllabus, realize the expectations of your professor, figure out what kind of reading you'll be doing, what kind of projects you'll be doing, and prepare yourself. I would pull out a calendar, whether that be on your phone or a paper. I'm a paper girl, so I do it all on a paper planner, and write out everything when things are due, when you have meetings, things like that. Stay organized. It's hard to do your first semester because there's so much going on, but stay organized, and then also make sure you stay on top of things for your classes. That's number one. So being diligent about your deadlines and things like that is probably most priority. Certainly you'll have hiccups your first year. I did. So everyone's got their hiccups, but it's great to go in prepared and ready to tackle any challenges that may arise.
Continuing off like the differences between high school classes and college classes is, I heard a lot in high school from my professors or my teachers, oh, we're preparing you for college. Right? This, like, you take AP classes, oh, this is, a college level class. We're preparing you for college. And I heard that almost every single day. But now, especially at Elon, we're preparing you for the real world. Right? And by doing that, it's a lot more engaged. It's a lot more hands-on, right? It's a lot more real world, aspects. I mean, an example of that, in one of my computer classes, computer information systems, we actually went out to a local business and we made a website for them, right? So we had to go in, and obviously we learned how to do this. We didn't just get thrown out and say make a website. We did it in class, we learned all this stuff, but we learned it doing something in the real world. Absolutely. So I mean, now if you go on that website, I made that, right? So it's real results, real world, and very rewarding experience, and that makes it a lot more fun personally. Actually doing something in the real world. So it's nice.
And I'll just say, every student will take a course called the Global Experience here. It's part of our core curriculum. We believe the core is really what is the foundation for all of the learning, whatever major, minor you pick. But the Global Experience is a first-year seminar, typically about 20 students. It's about public responsibility in a global context. So what's going on in the world? And it depends which faculty member you have, because you might be studying what's going on in Turkey, or you might study what is going on in North Carolina and HB2. But the key of that is that small group is going to really dive deep into some readings, working together on projects, making presentations. And I would say typically the students end up saying, that was a very challenging class. But typically in a year or so later, they'll say, that was like the best class that I've had.
Yes, absolutely.
Our next question that we got is, what is sibling orientation, and what else can siblings do while my parents and I are in orientation sessions? Well, I can say sibling orientation is a time that we have for during the convocation time for siblings to go and hang out with students who are in college currently. And so there's time for them to be spending with these other college students, and there's games and movies and activities for them to be doing while the convocation ceremony is going, if they are not so keen on sitting through that.
It's a good talk by the president.
Really is. But for ages 4 to 10, sometimes it can get a little tricky. So that's something that we have here at Elon. But did any of y'all have siblings that came with you to move into Elon?
I did not. No.
I did. My brother was here with my dad and my stepmom and my mom and my little sister. Actually, we were all here, but they were mostly helping me like move in.
Yeah.
So once we got like all the dust settled, I am from North Carolina, so they kind of stayed overnight. They actually all went to convocation because they're all, like, my younger sister is 14, my brother is now 18. So back then they were 16 and 12, so they were old enough to go to convocation. So they actually went to convocation and kind of saw basically me taking my step into Elon, in the world of Elon. So sibling convocation sounds like a lot of fun. But yeah, there's multiple things that siblings can do. They can stay in your room and help you set up some things, while you're at convocation. So there's multiple things that siblings can definitely do while they're here.
The next question also leads us more into some information about orientation. They asked, what is an orientation leader?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. An orientation leader is a current student at Elon, a sophomore, junior, or senior, who is basically a peer mentor and an educator during your first few days and your first semester, and actually your entire time at Elon. Now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, my orientation leader actually helped me out my sophomore year too. Yeah. But no, they're someone who's going to help you acclimate to Elon's campus. They're going to be basically the answer to all of your questions. So they're going to facilitate sessions with a small group of students, I believe 15, 16 students or so, will be in every orientation group. So they're going to do things like educate you on our honor code, on social conduct, things like that. But they're also going to be open for questions about some of the ones that we're answering now. What are my classes going to be like? How do you log into Moodle? Things like that. What do I do if I get locked out of my my dorm? Things like that. They're going to be able to answer, but they're also there as an educator to tell you what Elon expects of you as you come into to Elon University as a first-year student, and then they'll help bring you to all the orientation events and be just a kind of a smile in your day for the first couple of days, and then be a continued resource throughout the year, being a mentor and sometimes even a friend.
So Meredith, how do you know so much about that?
So I'm actually going to be an orientation leader. It's my first time, so I'm kind of saying this like, well, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm going to do. But I'm going to be an orientation leader this upcoming orientation experience. So Abby knows a little bit about that.
Yes, and so some of you watching may have Meredith as your orientation leader. So lucky. But moving on to our next question. We said, what advice do you have for students coming in undecided on their major to help us distinguish what we want to pursue?
Well, I always say, I'm a tour guide, so I always say for students coming in who are undecided, that is the best way to go, because you get to explore a lot of different things. You don't have to be locked into a space right away. You have chances to explore and dabble and take different courses and be immersed in that living and learning in multiple different ways. You can take a sociology course, English course, a history course, a math course, and see what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at, what you're not good at. So that's definitely something I would say. Don't fret too much. You have time. It's first year's. It's your transition year. It's not supposed to be figured out yet. It's not supposed to be all set in stone yet. So if you're undecided, that's totally okay. You come in and you really, I would say definitely ask your Elon 101 advisors. They are also your academic advisors. So they help you register, make your 4-year plan. Your OLs and your TAs also will help you with that. And also other students on campus like me, I'm a freak about 4-year plans. Like, I love it. So you definitely can ask different students all about that. But I would say just take it one day at a time. You have so much time here at Elon. You don't have too much time, but so much time to kind of explore and just see what you like. And that's really what college is all about, to explore and see what you like and what you're good at and what you want to pursue. So if you're undecided, have fun with it. That's definitely my advice.
And just to let you know, when we look at the admissions applications, we see that there are about 300 students out of 1,500 that say they're undecided. But when we get them to Elon and they're in the advising process and they are asked again, are you undecided? That number grows from 300 to almost 500 or 600. So almost half of the students that come to Elon are undecided. Now, I can picture them filling out the application when mom and dad are looking over their shoulder and they go, so what are you going to be when you go to college? Well, I'm going to be a business major. But maybe they really didn't want that. And when mom and dad weren't looking over their shoulder, they said, I don't know. And the key thing is we've got 60 different majors for you to choose from. The core curriculum is what you'll be taking that first year, and it really allows you to explore a lot. You have to declare a major by the second semester of your second year, so you get to explore for a while before that.
Yeah, I mean, I just declared my major this, I don't know, when was the deadline? The day before, probably.
Good, it was in time.
Was it done? Yes, but I mean, coming in, I knew sort of what I wanted to do, and I knew kind of what I was interested in. But like, my parents asked me, okay, well, what do you like? What do you enjoy doing? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe, this, but coming into college, you figure that out on the way, right? So whether it's by the classes that you're taking or whether it's the organizations you're in, and especially this internship that I took this summer, I took it in one field, and then after seeing what that field actually is like, I'm going to start looking at, something else, right? So, and I mean, I think on average, even, adults in the real world, they end up changing their, careers 2 or 3 times on average. So, and I'm sure that's, if it's normal for them, then it's definitely normal for us. So there's really no worries. You have, like Delaney was saying, you have a lot of help. Student Professional Development Center, your teachers. There are a lot of people who are, helping you figure that out on the way, helping you figure out not only, what you want to major in, but what you like doing, what you enjoy doing. Because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to do something that you're passionate about, something that you enjoy doing, and something that you're good at. So
good.
We actually just got in another question for Matthew, and it says, what is your advice on time management since you have to balance both soccer and academics?
Good question.
Yeah, it is a good question. And everyone's strategy is going to be different. There are some people who, they put in their planner, they put in their agenda. But me, I've always been a person who's kind of put a lot on their plate, and I've done that on purpose, and have tried to challenge myself to, figure out a way around that. And it's not easy. And, actually my freshman year, I did have a lot more free time than I expected to. Because, high school is a lot different. You got classes pretty much all day and then extracurriculars at night. So now it's, I did have a lot more free time, which was nice. So coming in, I did have some free time. But as, I started doing more organizations, as I started to have more fun at Elon, getting involved in the stuff that I enjoyed doing. I did, get a little bit busy. And honestly, it probably would be to, take a deep breath, right? If you're having to run from one thing to another and you're freaking out and you're, going 100 miles an hour, that's when you tend to kind of get messed up, right? So when you're going really fast and you're not taking, a second to say, okay, I've got to do this. And then, I'm going to go from here to there, just taking that, 5 seconds to just think, just take a deep breath, and you're going to get it all done. I mean, just know that, you've got 24 hours in the day, you've got all this that you got to do, and you're going to get it all done. So, that'd be my advice, I guess.
Can I add a little?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the traits that I say Elon students really need to develop is something called grit. Not shrimp and grits, but grit. And grit has several different meanings. One, it means hard work. Two, it means resiliency. When things go bad, and they will, you have to pull yourself up and move on. But the third one means a focused passion on something. So Elon will give students so many opportunities that they, in fact, have to be sure that you pick a few and get really good at it. Because otherwise you will be burning yourself out if you do this and this and this. So Matthew clearly has picked his major and soccer. And the best way to get really, really good at soccer is to do what?
Practice.
Practice,
Yeah.
practice, practice. And you do want to come out of Elon with some expertise, whatever major that is, or higher ed, administration or something. So grit is something that you should remember.
Can I add a little bit onto that? Like I said, I wanted to get involved, right? So I was like, okay, I want to do, obviously soccer, academics, but I wanted to have that one other thing that I wanted to do, in a club, an organization, something like that coming into Elon. So my game plan, my strategy was to say yes to everything at first. Okay, if there's an opportunity in front of me, yes, I'll try that, right? And then try it and say, okay, then you can say, okay, maybe this isn't, what I really want to get involved in, right? Because I didn't want to go 65, 70% into something. I wanted to do something 100%. So it wasn't until probably beginning of my sophomore year that I really found something that, I wanted to get involved in, right? So I said yes to it. And then I hesitated a little bit. I was like, okay, is this what I want to do? And then, yes, this is what I wanted to do. And then, I hit the ground running and I started doing that. So that would be another piece of advice, is just when you get on campus, say yes to every opportunity first. But this is a big but. This is a big but. Make sure that you can do it 100% and that you want to do it 100%. So that's my advice.
Good.
I think that is some exceptional advice. And with that, that's unfortunately all of the time that we have for this evening. But I encourage everyone to really think about all of the wonderful advice that everyone has given tonight, and think about that as you come to Elon, and think about what that looks like in your transition and as you make decisions once you're a student here. Because everything that people have said is just incredibly great advice. But moving forward, we wanted to let y'all know about an Are You Ready live web chat, which is a little bit different than the videos, but that's going to be happening on August 9th at 8 p.m. So keep your eyes out for that. Also, just some housekeeping items. Registration for orientation will close on August 5th. So make sure that if you haven't done that yet, that is on your to-do list. And you will be continuing to receive more information and emails about orientation as we draw closer. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact the office or email the Are You Ready email account, because we are so happy to answer any questions that y'all have.